What's up, family? Hey, how's it going? Milan is his 360 family, I guess, but also that stunningly made intro. Obviously it's the Defensive Dynamo one. So this is a very Defensive Dynamo themed show. Obviously, Nicko has been around for a while now, so he's kind of part of us, and we're part of him, I guess, at this point. So, up on the agenda today, we have the Milan Roma pregame, as well as a couple of additional bits that we're going to throw in. We're going to give you the starting 11 for each squad, and then we're just going to dig into the Rossi's defensive tactics. So enjoy the show and welcome very much. And Nicko, how have you been, man, over the last couple of days?
Doing great. Excited for this game today. Even though it's not Champions League, we're in Europa, so as Milan fans, we should be happy about that. That we're competing at some European competition.
Yeah, but can you imagine if it was us in that? We also have our other co-host joining, Mr. Lab Gorilla, live from Italy.
How you doing, guys?
Live from the homeland.
I'm live from the homeland. I'm at the airport.
I'd say this is a bit of a nightmare getting through the Italian airports if the bureaucracy is anything to go by. Is it, or is it kind of streamlined?
Mate, I didn't try and build a stadium, man.
Yeah.
Just trying to get through the airport is fine.
It's easy leaving the country. It's just impossible to build a stadium in the country.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely. I just came to do one thing only. Nicko, this is for you. Tanti auguri a te. Tanti auguri a te. Tanti auguri, caro Nicko. Tanti auguri a te.
Grazie, right? John.
Remember this. From the homeland, son.
That's right. Thank you.
Well,
right, guys, I need to go because my Wi-Fi is terrible, but let's hope we win tonight and have a good one, right?
Hey, too, John.
You too, man. Take care.
Safe flight. Good.
That's it. But thanks to our other co-host John for showing up there, and also happy birthday as well, Nicko, man.
Thanks, Shane.
Well done. Awesome cake as well. That's an inside thing here, but it was a great cake.
Yeah, the wife she killed it with that one.
She did
for sure.
It was cool. Just getting on to the Champions League. So we were talking about that before John popped in. So can you imagine if it was us versus Man City or Real Madrid?
Yeah, I mean, it would be a test for our team for sure, and a test of Pioli's tactics see, because I did see a tweet this morning or yesterday, I can't remember. They had interviewed somebody, I can't remember off the top of my head, I don't know who he is, but they said, I think it was an Italian football pundit, that he said that he compared Pioli's offensive tactics to Pep Guardiola's, that we're at the same level right now.
Really?
Yeah. Listen, I know I've been negative. So any other Milanistas listening out there, and I know I've been negative about the team. It gets, but I know from my point of view, we do tell the truth and say how it is with the team, right? We don't sugarcoat anything. We don't pretend we're this top tier team in Europe right now. However, we are playing good football.
We're not Arsenal fans.
We're not You're not Arsenal fans, delusional Arsenal fans. Yeah, but yes, we are playing good football. We're on a winning streak in Serie A. We're at this point of Europa. But you got to remember as well, to put it into context, we're playing the games that we've been winning have been with zero pressure in Serie A. We're comfortably in second place, so the team is playing with a ton of they don't have that weight of their shoulder, worried about Juventus nipping at us or Bologna or any of the teams. So yes, we are winning games. Hey, as a fan, you have to be proud of that. But at the same time, to compare Pep Guardiola to compare Pioli to Pep, and I responded to that. I actually retweeted that and with a little microphone emoji on personal account saying that actually Pioli's defensive tactics is similar to Klopp's, just as a joke out there, just to have some fun. Being that how well we've been playing defensively this year.
I tell you, I'd say one thing that's similar with Pep and Pioli is they both go to the same barber.
For
That's
sure,
about
yeah.
it.
Great barber they have, by the way.
That's it, man. Anyway, all right, cool. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So Milan Roma pregame. All right, man. Nicko, you excited for this one? Obviously,
I am
know
excited. Listen, it's going to be exciting to see the team. Let's pull up some graphs and go over the starting 11. So I don't know if you can see this. Maybe we could change the menu here. So according to the SofaScore website, this is the starting 11 for today. We're starting Milan starting in a 4-2-3-1. Mike in goal, Theo at left back, Simone Kjaer as left center back, Gabia is pairing up with Kjaer. We got Calabria starting on the right, Tijani and Ali as your double pivots, and you have Leao starting in his typical position. You got Loftus Cheeks back at his spot, Pulisic on the right side, and Giroud as our striker. And I believe Tomori's suspended, being the yellow card that he received last time. Chow's out, injured. Kalula's still out. Pobega is out. And, well, it says Morante is doubtful. But, when was the last time we saw Morante play? And for Roma, okay, this is the way the Rossi setting up this team. You have Silver in goal, Selic as you're playing on the right side, Laurenti and Mancini, center back pairings, Angelino playing next to Mancini. You have Cristante, Paredes, Pellegrino in the middle three. Up front, you got Dybala and Shirawe, and then Lukaku up front as the lone striker. So they're playing at a 4-3-2-1. And for Roma, it looks like, let's see who's missing players today. Nedika is suspended. Hussein Horwar is out. And Sadir Azmoun is out as well on their injured players. So that's the starting 11 for today. So what are your thoughts on that, Shane, on our starting 11 for our club?
So look, for me especially, and this is why I don't gamble, not because I have an addictive personality, but because I'm so bad at it. But I always kind of struggle when it comes to like forecasting things. But when I look at that Roma team, I'm a bit concerned about the kind of space that Theo and Leao might leave if they go forward, especially if you have Pellegrini, I always forget, Pellegrini and Dybala. That can occupy space very quickly, and I'm a bit concerned about that when I look at it. However, going forward, I think we should have too much for this team defensively. I still, forget the run of results. I still think they're highly questionable. They're probably as shaky as we are, and
we are. So they are, Shane. So and on the last pod with John. We did break down some defensive problems that Roma's had in the past. So they have a similar problem with, they don't have a really strong midfield, like that destroyer of a CDM, because Paredes is not that player. So they do leave a lot of gaps. So when the team is countering, they do leave a lot of space between their center backs and that middle, just like we do most of the time. So that's something for sure we're able to exploit today.
Yeah, and look, I think, De Rossi, I mean, this could be famous last words, but I don't think it's likely we're seeing, the start of another Capello.
No.
So I think And there's always that thing, when a manager takes over, it's like the team goes on an amazing run and then they kind of just go back to the mean. So, maybe we could be the start of that. So I very much like to see it. That being said, obviously, just going back to it, and I know I said it a couple of podcasts ago, it is very hard for me as a Milan fan just to get excited about being in the Europa League. However, I guess, look, it's better than no football. And
I
obviously,
agree.
I would
Definitely.
still support the team. But so, um, in terms of score lines, Nicko, where do you think this is going tonight?
So on last time, I predicted a high scoring affair, especially with look, Roma's back line is not strong. It's not the strongest back line in the game. Even our back line with Kair and Gabi's has been playing well. He had a shaky game last time, just maybe because he was rusty. But and Kair's there too. Who's he's up there in age. He's not the same player he was even last season. So I'm predicting a 3-2 win today.
I don't like that.
Yeah, me neither, buddy.
I don't like that because like we're more than capable of getting a 2-goal or 2 goals scored on us if we go to Rome.
Yeah, listen, with Lukaku playing, right? Lukaku could be dangerous. If he's on, he's on.
Yeah.
Same thing with Dybala, obviously.
Yeah. Do you know what, man? Just for my own sanity, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear 3-2. I'm gonna say I'm gonna look forward to tomorrow morning. When I'm gonna look forward going to work, knowing that we've won the game 3-1, and knowing
That's
that Pulisic, Leao, and you know what? I'm going for Rangers in this one.
Tijani, yeah?
Yeah, man. I just something about it, kind of tells me, But then, obviously, in our WhatsApp chat, the Milanistas 360 WhatsApp chat, I had said earlier, probably one of the only people I see scoring for Roma is if De Rossi comes out of retirement and comes out for the second half, and he might be the,
he might surprise us.
That's it.
I'm sure he's got his uniform underneath the suit.
That's it. And
ready to go.
Yeah, because I'm being a cocky asshole now, what's going to happen? Like Lukaku's going to come out and play the game of his life, and we're like, like we're.
Well, the funny thing is, there was they had interviewed De Rossi a while back, and he had told this reporter that when he took over the club, the players admitted to him that at some point they had started rejecting Mourinho's tactics. They were tired of his shit. It was old, just not being innovative, not being progressive with football. So you are seeing Roma rejuvenated, right? They have new life injected. They're playing for a former legend at Roma who brings a lot of intensity to the sideline.
And let's not forget, it is legendary Roma to win something. Yeah. And as far as I remember, I could be wrong here, but he would have been part of that squad that won the Serie A all those years ago. If he wasn't, he was coming through the ranks, but he was thereabouts. So he definitely qualifies as a club legend.
If my Roma friend is listening out there, let us know if that's accurate or not. He's a hardcore Romanista, you might know. One thing I did want to mention, so up here on this slide, I do have some stats from SofaScore based on De Rossi, how Roma's played since De Rossi's taken over. So the record is 10 wins, 3 ties, 2 losses. They've scored an average of 2 goals, I believe. Expected goals, average 1.32. Goals conceded is 0.93. Total shots, 11. Total shots allowed, average 14.8. They've had, and then more importantly, they've had 6 clean sheets under his management. So they've been on a roll. I mean, even against that Inter game, that first half they held their own against Inter. Second half they just fell apart.
Man, I'm always a bit wary about this. I don't like it when I feel confident about us going into what
Right? And
is,
if, as a
a
fan, you're
big game.
supposed to feel confident. That's our natural instinct, right? You need to be
Yeah,
confident about your club.
but I
But
don't like the I don't like it when I feel it this way because usually when that happens, you know, it's it's not a good thing.
obviously, we all want a comfortable win as a fan.
Of course.
The fans, just casual football fans, want a high scoring game. They want the score lines that we've been seeing in Champions League the last couple of days. With Barcelona and PSG, and I think the only low score game that I saw yesterday was Atletico with Borussia Dortmund. It was a 2-1 win. But other than that, every other game, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3. So that trend might continue today, but who knows?
I caught a bit of the Dortmund game versus Atletico, and I was quite surprised as well because I was kind of saying to myself, if only that Dortmund showed up against us.
But did you see that the first half when Atletico at home, they're a different animal. Not getting away from this game, for Milan and Roma, but when Atletico's press is on and they were intense.
Yeah.
Something that I'd like to see us back. That's how we won our Scudetto was a good high press. Dude, Dortmund looked lost. They looked confused. They were panicking. They were just a shell of themselves, and that's something we could have done against them if we had those players and that intensity. We could have beaten them too, because it
Yeah,
is what
man.
it is.
I mean, hey, look, there's two ways of looking at it, right? But if we could get Simeone, because he's done quite an awful lot at Atletico. For the most part, they haven't spent a huge amount of money.
No, especially this year.
So, and he has consistently gotten results. And I could be wrong, but I'm sure he's gotten a league title as
He
well.
has in the past, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's kind of earned these stripes there. Of course, is trying to get him to leave Atletico would be the problem.
So there are rumors that he wants to return back to Italy. But from my understanding, he has really good ties with Lazio as well. He's super tight with them. So yeah, I'd hate to see him at Lazio for obvious reasons.
Yeah, and it's no slice to Lazio either. But it's just I think it'd really have to be something very special, like for talk about like a tight CEO or whatever. What's the Lazio guy's name again?
I forget the guy's name off the top
Not
of my head.
Iglitari, is it, or is he gone now? Strasbourg Steve, you should be here to tell us. I can't remember, but
That's one of his many clubs. I think Stratford Street. He roots for about what 20 teams.
yeah. But oh hey Anthony, what's up, man?
What's going on?
What is up? So what's going on, Shane and Nicko? It's not going to be an easy game, but we have the quality over for Roma. I've got us winning 3-1. Music to my ears,
There
man.
you go. All right.
And then I can sleep easy tonight and not have to.
I hope I'm wrong with my prediction.
I really hope you are, Or, it could be that thing as well. Like, remember when we crushed Napoli?
Yeah, listen, we played the game of our lives.
Like-
Glad we did.
And it, it's like some sort of weird PS or PTSD that I'm after getting about, the Inter thing where we got crushed, but hopefully this isn't it. Tari is the sporting director for Lazio. Good man. Thanks, Anthony. But imagine Simeone going there though, and again, it's no slight to Lazio, but surely I think he's done enough to earn the club with maybe slightly higher ambitions. So that rules us out and Lazio. So maybe Inter or Juve. Sorry, I'm being positive here. I promise.
Yeah, let's be positive. Listen, we've been negative, not negative, but we've been, So I think it's nice to be positive sometimes for our
Yeah,
club, being that we're on a hot streak.
that's it. That's it.
You know,
That's it.
so I do want to break something else down as well, if you don't mind,
Mhm.
Shane. Let's get into it. Okay, boom. So some little quick defensive stats comparing our Milan and Roma. This is from Opta Analysts.
Mhm.
They're a British firm that has some really cool data on football. And so look at Milan, we're sitting at this expected goals against. So the ratio for R is 2.3, Roma is 2.4, about the same. So open play, all right. How is, this is showing how we defend open play goals and shots and so forth. So for Milan, we've open play, we've given up 298 goals to Roma's 276. Expected goals in open play, 22.62, 28.09 for Roma. To put that to comparing that to Inter, who's blowing away the competition, and they got the best defense in Europe this year. Oh, next to Arsenal, actually. They're at 15, and we've given up 23 goals in open play, and Roma at 23.
You
So
see this? Do you know what's difficult with this? It does make a lot of sense to me, especially on the defensive side, why Roma will be that much better, especially when the context of I'm taking this as going by the last season, so the season, right? So
this
far.
season, this is the season, but you got to remember too, this is under Mourinho as well. And
That's yeah. I think
yeah,
like if we seen the Rossi, I think it'd be much more within reason, you
for
know,
sure, definitely.
um, especially going forward. But man, I really think though, like especially the form, like and I've said this so many times on the pod, but I cannot give Pulisic enough credit. Like the guy is
Dude,
a complete like legend, to be honest.
did you see him playing in that cam role the last
Mm,
game?
yeah,
Dude, forget about his offense. His offense was on point. He had that banger of a goal from Chukwueze in that first half. But defensively, the work rate that kid puts in, even on the right side,
yeah.
he's a night and day compared to Loftus Cheeks defensively. The kid backtracks. He wins balls in the midfield. Does a lot of work. So
And that's a shame when you think about it, because Loftus Cheek has the frame to be something more
he
defensively.
does, but he doesn't have the mentality. You got to
He
want to
doesn't
play
have it.
defense. He doesn't have it
Yeah.
in him.
And it's a shame, man, because like I remember back when we first got him, like in my idiocy, I was actually thinking that we were looking for like CDMs, not realizing that we have, Pioli who doesn't give a shit about, defensive solidarity or solidity anymore.
He
Um,
said it. He said it
yeah,
plenty of times this season that we don't play defense. So
man, and I
take
was
that
like,
for what it is.
yeah, I was like, I was literally so happy when we got Loftus Cheek, because I was like, oh my God, I think they might be trying to, maybe slot this guy into a CDM role, because I'd seen his physique,
He's a
like,
big
and I
dude.
was
He's he's
like,
a,
you know,
he's a big kid. Terrifying.
it's like he's the replacement that we're finally getting for Kessie, and next thing now, it's like, oh no, he's kind of, yeah. It's great that he's attacking minded, and going forward, he is dangerous, and he's a powerhouse, but yeah. I hope the lack of a CDM doesn't catch us tonight, man.
No, hey, listen. That's why hopefully, going into next season, I hope we pick up somebody like Fofana, which
Yeah,
we've been linked to him this
yeah,
season, for next season actually.
yeah.
He'd be definitely a huge upgrade for the team.
What do you think about the Benacer
Oh,
situation?
so let me talk about Benny real quick. So when
Mm,
I didn't realize this, so obviously Benny is Muslim and he does follow Ramadan. There's a thing I didn't realize it until one of our members in the group chat mentioned it, because he's a former Muslim. There's a thing, if you have work, if you do something that's like uh, that it's like a job that you have that you need to work and you need to perform during Ramadan. Instead of, if you miss the fasting days, you can donate your money. I think it's like $200 or something like that. There's different donations through different Muslim religious organizations. You can donate your money and say, well, I fucked up this month. I didn't fast because I work for a living. I need to eat and rehydrate because I'm a football player. My family depends on it. This is my livelihood. He hasn't done that, which for me, that's disappointing, knowing that now, all these months, he's come back from injury, and then he's also fasting, and he has an option not to fast, and he has enough money to pay. It's not like he's, making, minimum wage. So that to me is very disappointing as a fan to see that.
Do you know what the most concerning part of that was? I know obviously, everyone's completely okay to practice how they like, in any way they like. But what was very concerning as well was, I think, was it you that said it, or someone had mentioned this, that last season when he got that really bad injury against Inter, that was essentially just, was it a week or two, 1 week after coming off the fast?
Yeah, that depletes you. You're fasting.
Yeah.
That, especially if you're a high performing athlete like Benny is.
Yeah, like it's very concerning,
So if you're gonna fast, don't play. And like for
Yeah.
example, I know this is different, but this is like MMA fighters, UFC fighters. There's a lot of Muslim fighters in the UFC nowadays, and during Ramadan, a lot of them, if they're gonna practice it and follow the fasting and which is great. I have nothing against that. They don't compete. They turn down fights because they realize, hey, I'm gonna hurt myself and my team. Well, UFC MMA is a solo fight. You're fighting, but in this case, this is a team sport. Your teammates depend on you to be at your highest peak. And
especially with us in the midfield, right? Because if you think about it this way, like Benny's the only defensive type midfielder that we have. Like, and if he's not, for whatever reason, if he's not at 100%, then I mean, do we sell him and get a player?
I would sell him if somebody comes calling 50, 60 million.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what he's worth now. Maybe with EPL teams, they like to overpay for players too. So, somebody comes in calling for 70 mil. I mean, we would have to be stupid not to take that deal.
That's it. So just another comment there from Anthony. With Pulisic, Loftus-Cheek, Okafor, and the Chuckster, Chukwueze, producing in terms of goals, we have not had to put everything on Leao's shoulders, which is a plus. It really is, man.
Huge.
Because you know what that point takes me back to? Who was it last season where, was it Salernitana, where I think we were either losing or drawing. I think we were losing. And Leao, despite being run into the ground, had to be brought on at like the 75th minute or something like that. And you could just see the look in his face that he was like, oh my God. Like, the team is literally so dependent on me that they can't beat Salernitana.
That's a lot of pressure for any player, especially for a young player like Rafa.
Yeah, I'm sure it was Salernitana. Remember, it was around November time?
Yeah. I recall that. I do remember.
Yeah. And I felt so sorry for the guy. Like, it was kind of, I was embarrassed on his behalf, to be honest, because it was kind of like, like we literally needed Leao to pull us out of it. But 100%.
I think that's what happened last year too. I felt like with Giroud, there was a game, I think he purposely got a red card not to miss the next game because he needed a break.
Oh, but a bit of bad news there from John, Mr. Lab.
Yeah, Lab's with me too. He's on the same wavelength there.
Yeah, but he was also saying his flight's
3-1.
delayed.
Okay.
So his flight's delayed. Serves you right, John, because you shouldn't have booked the flight. when we were playing. It's bad karma.
Oh,
That's what's happened now, man. Only joking. Best of luck. I hope you don't get delayed too long. But yeah,
that's
3-1 for the win.
all right. I like it. Positivity. Let's keep it coming.
That's it. Fuck it. Let's go for 10. Completely put the
10.
tie to bed. To bed.
If we could score 5 goals, fuck, wow,
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then, face off. I think Liverpool's playing today. If we could face off with Liverpool, because that's who I want if we get through Roma. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's
So,
the tie. I
Shane,
think a lot of people around Europe want, to be honest.
why wouldn't we want that? That's like an epic trilogy right there, with the Champions League history versus Liverpool.
That's it. That's it, man.
Let's
And
go
then
for
we
a
can
third
get
time.
absolutely demolished. And then we'll go, okay, it was nice.
At least we played, but you know what though? I don't see us beating Liverpool. The way they're playing right now, they're just smashing people.
Hmm.
But yeah, regardless, it'd be an entertaining two-leg match for sure.
So John's just threatening physical violence. I'm sorry.
Oh, shit. Okay.
but-
Well, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. He did train Muay Thai when he was younger, so he might
That's it.
start throwing
I'm
elbows.
sorry, John. I take back what I said. I'm just and then Anthony just with a comment. I'm the same way with Benny. If someone calls for a good offer for him, you might as well sell him. And again, it's nothing to do with the, we're not at we're not in a place where we're not like a Premier League team where we can literally have 2 or 3 quality players in one position. Like every player that we have that's starting quality, and I do definitely put Benny in the starting quality, set, even when he's off form. Every player that we have has to be on the ball as much as possible because we don't have any other options. And if it's a thing where we're going to be losing him from peak performance, once every, for what is it, 1 month every year, it should, we just have to get someone who can basically do the job for 12 months a year.
Somebody's reliable.
Yeah. Well.
Let's go. So I have actually some more interesting, some really cool facts here. So I did find there's getting into some De Rossi tactics, seeing the difference between him and Mourinho. There's a website called Breaking the Lines, and they put out this really good breakdown of De Rossi, of what he's been doing with Roma, which is cool because a lot of the other websites they had paywalls to get some really good facts. So they're offering this stuff for free, which is really cool. So it's called breakingthelines.com for people who are interested out there. So just a quick tidbit. So far, De Rossi has been flexible in his tactics this year, switching from a 4-2-3-1 to a 4-3-3, depending on the game, the plays that are available, obviously, and going for a 3-back line this was against Brighton when they beat them. Selic and Sharawi would operate as the wing backs, with the back 3 providing solidarity protection against Brighton's free-flowing attack. And it actually worked against them. They did beat up Brighton. The beloved De Zerbi that everybody's been raving about since last season, they took him out, right? Especially when they played him at home as well. They worked him.
Which is very strange, because remember there was a lot of people, or well, there was at least one idiot on Twitter that was saying that Brighton would basically win the Serie A.
Dude, they've EPL fans are hysterical.
Yeah.
All right, not all of them. There's some really knowledgeable EPL fans out there, and I know some of them.
But the
overall,
ones that there seems to be obviously it's like any
the
fan
loudest
base.
ones.
Yeah, to see the maddest ones, there seems to be a very large percentage that are getting drunk on their own Kool-Aid, I guess, to use an expression from the States. Because it's it's kind of like they fundamentally, they don't watch anything else. Me being honest, right? I will honestly tell you, Nicko, and I've said this multiple times, I don't watch the EPL. It's not my thing. It never will be, because it's not tactical enough. It's a good league. I'm not dismissing that, but it's just more physical rather than anything. It's literally 11 guys running after the ball trying to overpower one another. for the most part, except you have, the tactical ones like Pep or like, De Zerbi or Klopp.
Or Klopp too.
Um,
You know what?
yeah, but but the thing is that like you can I if you watch the EPL, surely you watch the Champions League, and surely if you watch the Champions League, you would have seen the Champions League final last year, where Inter were neck and neck for most of the game in the final with Man City. So how does it make sense in your brain, when you're not sitting on it because it's in your ass, right? That that Brighton would win the Serie A. Make
Well,
that make sense.
Shane, I've seen people out there claim that even Luton, they just a newly promoted team,
Mm.
could compete in Syria.
Yeah. Yeah, do you know what it is though, man? It's like it really goes to like it just shows how brainwashed people can get, because if you tell someone something enough, in other words, best league in the world, best league, nothing else can compete, then stupid people that won't actually use critical thinking will actually just go along with the party line. So if anyone's ever serious and says that Luton can compete in the Serie A and qualify for the Europa or whatever the hell that was, or that Brighton can win the Serie A, but then go suspiciously quiet the following week when they get destroyed by Roma, right? Yeah,
And they're crickets then.
yeah, crickets then, yeah,
Well,
because
I'll tell you something, Shane, and I'll get into back to Roma's tactics in a minute here.
mm,
Myself, I've questioned. So there's a couple EPL tacticals on Twitter that I follow, just to get a sense of what they're talking about. And anytime that I've questioned their thoughts or beliefs or whatever, and I never get a reply. Never get an answer. It just goes unresponsive. And to me, it's like, well, if somebody's questioning, if you're debating somebody, you should be open to responding and have just a cordial, online discourse, and not getting nasty, not calling anybody names. Your league sucks, or you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're stupid. But seriously, if you're going out there, and especially if you have a couple of thousand followers and you got 20K views on your post, and you have all these people buying into your bullshit because they don't know any better, and you have somebody like me. Listen, I don't know everything about football, but I've coached it. I've sat on the sidelines with some professional coaches in the U.S. And so I have a different understanding. It humbles me if I see somebody saying, "Oh, these tactics didn't work because of this," it's easier to sit back there and say, "Well, after the fact, oh, these tactics didn't work. They should have done this."
oh, hold on. Speaking about tactics, you will absolutely love this one. So there's, okay, 1 second before I get to Lab Gorilla's post, right?
Sure.
So Anthony, wait a second, hold on. Oh,
Yeah, Lab. We did go over the starting lineup earlier.
yeah, but so yeah, so Chow and Gabia are at centre back. But hold on, Derassi's been able. There we go. We are in trouble.
Are you shitting me?
There we go.
Wow.
But before we get to that fucking bombshell, right? Anthony's. That's, I completely agree, and I'm actually quite worried because I think that's going to leave a lot of space there on our
Holy
left-hand
shit.
side
God
for
damn
us
it.
to run into. But yeah, so De Rossi's been able to turn Pellegrini's confidence around by pushing him forward. Yeah, and I'm slightly concerned about that. Tejon Calabria, midfield of Rangers, RLC, and Benny. All right, okay.
Yeah, that's Benny. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that Benny's fasting and not taking care of himself, that's concerning
Benny,
too.
don't do it, man. Well, no, it's not just don't do it, but you can do it somewhere else because we kind of really depend on you, but we can depend on someone else that can perform at 100% all the time as well, just as easy for the same pay packet. Premier League relies mostly on pace and power. Indeed, it does. Meanwhile, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, etc., rely more on technique. Yeah, true. And look, I'm not saying, Anthony, there's a such thing as a coincidence, right? However, I moved to Spain last year, and now there could potentially be 3 Spanish teams in the Champions League semi-final. I'm just saying. Is that a coincidence? You tell me. Obviously, it fucking is, but...
So quickly on Anthony's, Anthony just said about the power and pace what they rely on the Premier League. So the interview Weston McKennie from Juve a while back, because he played in the EPL as well for a bit, like most American players do before going abroad to other countries. And one thing he said is like when he came to Juve, he noticed the differences between the leagues. He said in the EPL, and this is what he compared, it was like running around like chickens without a head. So, for example, if you look at a heat map of a player, you're like, oh shit, he's covering so much ground in the EPL. Well, fuck, that doesn't tell me shit. Because what is he doing? Is he just running with no purpose, just to run around, which a lot of EPL teams do, according to Weston.
That's it. And this is the thing as well, right? Because when you think about it this way, so if it's a situation that a player is doing that, right, does that not kind of say to you that there's a lack of footballing intelligence?
It's not I think, well, there are intelligent coaches. You don't want to disparage any coaches in the EPL because they're all professional coaches. They have all their pro cards and shit. So it's not like they're fucking retarded. So excuse my French. They are smart individuals, but I think it's just the way maybe they get pressured from the owners. I don't know, but they tend to play this way because the way they set up their teams, and it's more exciting. I think they are more than capable of playing more tactical football overall. But I think just like the NBA has become the NBA has become a less defensive league now because of the rules and as well. You're seeing like teams score 130 points a game now, which is insane. But it makes for as a casual fan, yeah, they love the EPL because of it's not even the scoring, because I think Serie A has scored more goals than them this year. But visually speaking, you're like, wow, look how fast they're playing. Look how fast they transition from defense to attack, which is with a Serie A team or a team like Barcelona in La Liga. They're feeding the ball through the middle. They're controlling the tempo. They're trying to bait the defense to get out of their low blocks. And I just think that's just the way it's set up. And just not, like you said, it's not my thing either. I do watch the EPL. I do follow some teams like Liverpool and so forth. But yeah, absolutely right. There's, from a perspective, like a fan like us, tactically speaking, it's lacking a ton in the Premier League. For sure.
So, Lab Grill again. So Roma lineup is pretty much full strength. Dybala, El Shaarawy, and Lukaku. Yeah, this will be a good test for Chow and Gabbia. Pioli said he picked Chow because he's similar traits to Tomori. I think, judging by the last few games, similar traits being Tomori getting smacked around the place by Chelsea. I think that's what Tomori he's looking for.
Shane, this bothers me. Pioli. And I try to avoid being negative against Pioli and trying to look at the positives, being that he's returning as our coach next season and just giving up on that fight, just giving up and saying, yeah, Pioli, accepting the fact that Pioli is coming back next season. But seeing this quote bothers me. As a somebody with common sense, all right, your casual football fans, there's no way in this world, anybody in this planet could tell me with a straight face that Tomori and Chow have the same trait. Tomori has speed, he has pace. Chow doesn't. He's not fast. He has long legs, sure. He's a tall, physical kid. But take a look at the games that he's played this year. Look at the stupid foul that he's committed. It's not even being out of position or lack of experience. It's a lack of mental maturity.
Do you know what though? Right? When I think about it, so if we go for right, so Chow and Gabia, right? They're obviously that bit taller. I'm wondering if Pioli's a bit concerned about something that might happen from a set piece, or if he's worried about, a long ball to Lukaku,
But
because
it's
that
not
may
that.
make sense.
Yeah, but it's all in that case, and I've been through this before. Even with those players, you have. It's not about being being tall. Being a tall center back helps tremendously, right? But
Yeah,
during our Scudetto, when we won the Scudetto, we had Kalulu and Tamari, and we won the league.
true.
So that didn't affect us at all. The lack of height.
Mm.
It's about positioning. It's about how you mark your men. Being that Pioli really quick does play. He when he sets up his set pieces, and we've given up a ton of goals the last 2 seasons from set pieces. It's about the marking. They do play. They do play. They don't play man to man most of the time. Pioli, he plays zonal marking, and teams have caught up to Pioli because he doesn't change his tactics on set pieces.
Mm.
Coaches are on to him, especially Serie A coaches. They figure out pretty fast. We all know this, right?
Mm.
So they know how to beat it. So it's not a lack of height, or it's a lack of how your players are going to mark their men. And
Do you
I
know
don't
what?
care if you.
Would
So
Do you know what? Right, I know Kalulu's obviously been missing for a ton of this season. Do you think there's merit in getting him to stay? Obviously, I understand that there's going to be a huge markup if we did sell him, right? Let's say he goes for 30 million, right? And we got him for 500,000. Again, towards the balance sheets, that's amazing, right? However, if we did keep him, we then don't have to, do you think he could be kind of molded? Because he's still very young. Do you think he could be molded into a right back?
he's played right back before for us.
And he has, and this is the thing, so if we're going to be going off getting maybe okay, depending on who we get, right? I know there's a lot of names being sent around, but we're not going to end up with a even half established player. We're going to end up with some guy from the second league in France. So, do you think there's merit? I'd nearly keep him on, try and mold him into a right back, and then see how we go. Because I mean,
Definitely.
if it keeps Calabria off the pitch, and then if it, obviously I think Florenzi's probably, I'll be surprised if he lasts past this summer, especially on his salary.
Same here.
I mean, it just makes a lot of sense because at least we know Kalulu and the Mr. X, I guess. We don't.
Well, it's all about chemistry as well. Now you got to restart the whole process again of
Yeah.
which you don't want to do because Kalulu's been on the team. It's unfortunate he's been injured, and there's a lot of people to blame for that, not just on him, medical
No.
staff and other personnel on the team.
Yeah, the
But
manager selecting him.
manager, and then now you're just I just question a lot of things. And listen, yes, I agree. Kalulu should come. We should keep Kalulu. I mean, I've heard rumors that if Tomori gets a big offer from EPL, that they're willing to get rid of him. That would be a huge loss. I guess if you're talking about who would you rather lose, Mike, Deo, or Tomori, I think out of three of
It's going to
them,
be Tomori all day.
Tomori,
Yeah.
because Deo is irreplaceable. He's he's the top left back in the game right now. Mike is Mike. You can't replace Mike. I don't care what anybody tells me. He's a top 2 keeper in the world. So tomorrow it's possible if you can use that, generate 80 mil from some EPL club like Chelsea, because they look like they're spending wildly too again. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't surprise me again being an EPL team that they'd overpay a huge amount for a player that they left go for nothing.
Listen, if we can
Let's see.
reinvest that money as well into like Borgiorno or the other kid, Calafiore.
I know, but the thing is we were heavily linked as well, Calafiori as well. Like, I mean, it's such a shame that we didn't get him, obviously, but it shows there is merit in what we're doing in terms of scouting. But I agree with what you're saying, though. There's a big difference in between letting a good player go, so Tomori is a good player, versus letting a world class player go. And I
Huge.
think, like his world class, good luck replacing that anytime soon. Tomori, I think, it's far more likely that we could. Anthony, 2 good points. And then, Anthony, I'm going to wrap up because I need to get dinner and then
All right.
collapse. But
I'll stick on for a few minutes afterwards, Shane, for like
cool,
5
man.
more.
Cool beans. So Anthony Lafleur just with 2 points. Chow has more physical strength capabilities for sure than Tomori, but he still does have growing pains to get past. Of course, he does as well. And this is the thing with Chow. Like, I think we do forget, because he has been here a relatively long time. We forget how young he is.
But Shane, he is young, but he does have a mental block in his head. He's making just costly mistakes for us, and you can't afford that. That's the thing.
That's it, man. And last one.
Boom.
Before I pop off. With regards to Kalulu, my concerns are about him being able to stay healthy. Man, I think I agree. I think, though,
But it's not his fault.
no, like, see, this is the thing as well, right? I think for all my complaining about Calabria, I do think that there's more of a possibility that, Calabria could be alternating with Kalulu, especially for one season, as opposed to Kalulu becoming like the first starter, right? And I don't think the fan base would mind that so much if they, if they seen that was happening. And then Christian Pasby, Forza Soccer, man, and La Corrida, he's at the Bunga Bunga party today. Well, he's with his wife and kids, so I wouldn't say so, Christian. But, let's see, man. Look, I got to go. I got to get some fucking food.
The game's starting a little bit. So let me, Shane, always a pleasure seeing you.
Peace out. Enjoy the show.
All right.
Take care. Bye.
All right, so that's my co-host Shane dropping off. So the game's about to start in a few minutes. I think about another 15 or so. So quickly, we did go off the subject before, which is cool. We got into some really good topics. Let me change the view here. See my mug. All right. All right, that's all right. That works. It's the camera. So real quickly, we had talked about De Rossi earlier, right? From the breakinglines.com blog on his tactics. So the one thing that De Rossi does do, he doesn't press a lot with his team. He doesn't want high press. He likes to soak up a lot of pressure and hit you in the counter. Boom. Soak up that pressure, hopefully win the ball in the midfield or in this back four, back three, depending on the setup. Looks like a back four today, according to the lineup. And then hits you up in the counter with Dybala running up top and Sharawi and, Lukaku. So that's the way it looks like. So I could definitely see Roma using that tactic today, soaking up the pressure against us, not taking too many chances. And it's something we've struggled in the past as a team, beating that low block that a lot of traditional Serie A teams like to play. So that's something that to look for today is Roma gonna press high, or are they gonna sit back and wait for us to make a mistake, get that ball back and hit us on the counter and take advantage of Chow being back there or Gabbia. I mean, we've seen Chow in the past on 1v1s with PSG. He was put in some bad spots. With Inter marking Thuram, he made some mistakes and Thuram just ate him up. So that's something to look at today, fans, is that setup. And who's going to be marking Lukaku in our defensive third? Is it going to be Gabbia or Chow? And one other thing, real quick. So this is a really good stat too, some good tactics to break down. So there's a gentleman who's actually an account, Scout7 Calcio on Twitter, does some really excellent fucking breaking down tactics from mostly Serie A teams. So one thing that he's noticed is that Pioli's actually copied Abati's pressing style in the last few games. So according to his analysis, right? So against Fiorentina, the one thing he saw that Pioli actually changed to a 4-4-2 pressing, similar to what Betty's been doing with the Primaveras. So obviously Primavera's been playing really excellent this season. They've been really successful, especially domestically as well, advancing in their tournament. So I guess Pioli probably noticed this as well. He's like, this is working for them. Why not try this with my team, with the first team, and see where it goes? And it's been effective overall, right? Giroud has been he likes to press pretty well, put pressure on the ball. So as long as Giroud is healthy and at 100% and not gassed out, if he goes with that 4-4-2 pressing versus Roma, for sure it could be effective, right? And obviously, let's see what Loftus-Cheek does. If he can press and win the ball back with his physicality on the press as well. So again, that's something to look at as well. Will we see that 4-4-2 high press from Pioli today, or are we going to play more of a mid block and hopefully try to win the ball back with our midfielders? All right, that's all I have today. To everybody that tuned in today, I appreciate it. I'm going to cut this show off. Thanks for coming into this special pregame of Milan versus Roma. Milanistas, Romanistas, Calcio fans, football fans from around the world. Thank you. I really mean that. Without your support, we wouldn't be here. And it helps me and my co-hosts to be motivated to come on. And always, please retweet this, share it with your friends, your families, girlfriends, wives are related to football as well. And leave your comments on things that we can be doing better. If you want to see more tactics, analysis for myself, let me know. Hit me up on X. All right. Thank you and enjoy the game. All right. Forza Milan. Take it easy, everyone.